welcome back. It is after hours here in the house. The kids are asleep and tomorrow is Saturday, which means we have to get ready for our flower stand to open up tomorrow at 9 a.m. So I decided I would show you how I wrap my mason jars. I found it kind of hard to find a video and a tutorial on how to wrap mason jars. Now, my goal is to do just wrapped bouquets, but my stems are a little bit shorter because I am finally just getting blooms here in Massachusetts. So I am in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and I feel like with the very cold and wet spring, I had a very big delay in all my flowers blooming. I am still waiting on my dahlias. I had a few cafe au laits that did open up, and then I have a few that are starting to crack open, but just not in time for this weekend's flower stand. But no worries, I was able to get a good amount of sunflowers and zinnias, celosia, and a couple little this and that I could find, some yarrow in my garden to make some bouquets. So my goal is to get at least 6 to 8 ready. However, I do have 10 mason jars. These ones were purchased at the Dollar Tree for $1.50. Last weekend, I used just my extra spaghetti sauce jars I have been saving. They're just like that Classico 3-pack you can get at Costco. However, I didn't have enough to make 6 to 8 mason jars with them, and I wanted them all to look the same. So I figured I'll just go to the Dollar Tree, I'll grab these. All I had to do is peel a sticker off and use some Goo Gone, and they are good to go. So let's get started. I'm gonna show you how I wrap them just from this view, and then I'll do a few other angles so that way you can get a nice close-up. So this is just an 18-inch craft paper, and I'm still learning on eyeing it, as this is literally my only second weekend doing this, but I will just pull it out. And I'm kind of just eyeing it because I want a nice triangle. So I will just, so I don't waste too much, go ahead and kind of eye it, and then I'm just gonna back it up a smidge and whip it. And if you don't get a perfect grip, it's okay because we are gonna fold it into a triangle. So I'm gonna do this 9 more times and then we'll get wrapping. We have a rough 18 by 18 inch square right here. So I'm just gonna take my left-hand corner and I am going to bring it up and try and get the edges to align, and then press nicely and make a triangle, and then whatever is left over I will cut off because you will see it when you have your little peak. So I'm going to cut this off. Now you're going to take your mason jar and you're going to line it up so the mouth of the mason jar is going to be in line with the peak. I do have some tape right here, and I'm just going to get a little piece because you're going to need just to secure it. I did make my own 2-inch labels with my logo on it that I will be using, as well as like a little instruction card. So right now we are just going to fold over one edge, and I kind of tuck it in. And yes, you probably could make this a little bit smaller, but for me, it's just the quickest way to do it. And then I take this corner on my left and I fold it in so that way the corner of it kind of touches the mason jar, and have it try and be as tight as you can. So this is what it will look like. However, when someone goes to pick up the jar, you don't want the wrapping to slip up. So kind of like how you do with a Christmas present, if you're wrapping, I will scooch it up. So then that way I can tape it, scooch it up. I'm gonna get another piece of tape, and I am going to start kind of folding it down like you would if you were wrapping a present. So usually when I wrap a present, I wanna make sure when I fold it down, it covers at least midway through like the box you're wrapping. Circles are a little bit more tricky. I am not going for perfection here because they're probably gonna end up taking it off. So I am just going to keep wrapping it around. It usually goes around either 4 or 5 times. So it's going to look like this at the bottom. And then I'm just going to take my piece of tape and put a piece there. And then I might just put one more after and do like a little crisscross. But this is what it will look like at the bottom. So that way when it's sitting, like I said, sometimes you just have to like fudge it around a little bit. That way when it's sitting and the customer comes to pick it up, it's not going to slip through your craft paper, because let's face it, this is actually really slippery, and you're going to have some water in it, so it is going to be heavy. So again, it's just going to look just like this, and I'll show you how I decorate it. So just to hide that piece of tape right here, I just bought some Avery 2-inch labels. I'm sure you can get them off of Etsy too, but I have a printer at home, so I just printed my own logo. all I had to do was just download the template and then insert my logo, and then I just print it and it comes off on this nice little circle. I just take this sticker and I will put it over my piece of tape. It doesn't have to be directly in the center. I am not going to be that fussy because again, they're just gonna end up taking it off anyways. But I think this is just super cute. It's just a little bit more decorative. You don't have to do this. And what I also like to do is I have some flower care instructions. So I have like a double side piece. Again, I just printed it on some cardstock. I use Canva for everything. I absolutely love Canva. So I just did this. It has some instructions and it also has a QR code so they can find me on Facebook. I feel like most people have Facebook over Instagram. So I'm going to have my mason jar. We have our logo sticker. I will also just tuck this in as well. And then I also have these little flower food packets, again, off of Amazon, and I will tuck it in. So this is what it's going to look like when it's all said and done, plus the flowers that you're gonna be adding. So I'm gonna show you a nice close-up of this, but I just find it really nice, easy, it's just clean, and it just gives it a little bit more pop when it's on the flower stand. Again, you don't have to do it, but I just really wanted to show because I think it's super simple, but it just has this nice little effect to it. All right, so here is a nice close-up. So again, this is roughly 18 inches by 18 inches. This is an 18-inch craft paper. I'll also put in the description a link of the craft paper I have been using. So I'm just going to take my left corner and I'm going to fold it upwards so that these will meet, and then I will create a crease. Oh, there we go. And then I like to trim off the edging because it will show when you wrap it. And I try and do my best. You can also buy 18-inch by 18-inch pre-cut, I believe, off of Amazon. But this was only like 13 bucks. And then I had a little bit left over here, so I'm gonna just trim that. All right, so we're gonna move that over. So now you have your triangle. I'm going to take my mason jar and I'm going to put it even. I will just put it at the bottom for now. Then I'm gonna take a small piece of Scotch tape. I am going to wrap it over, and I will do a view from my angle too. And you kind of like tuck it in a little bit, and then you can just play with it, making sure it's still in the middle as you like. And then I'm going to take this side, fold it in, so that way this corner right here should be almost tucked in from the mason jar. And make a nice crease, and then you're gonna fold it over again. And it's going to be a little off-centered, but that's fine. And then I'm going to tape it up at the top. So next, I will squish my mason jar up a little bit, grab a longer piece of tape, and just like a Christmas present, you are going to want to fold it enough. Ooh, and like it is super slippery. So that way it's at least covering half. So I kind of just do 1, 2, 3, it's a little bit harder with one hand, 4, 5, and then I'm just gonna flip it the other way just so I can get the tape in. Again, it is very slippery, and I'm just going to tape it at the bottom so it'll look like this. Again, it's not the prettiest. I will put another one on, but it's basically just so that way when your customer picks it up, it's not gonna slip. And you might have to just push it down a little bit. So this is what it will look like. And then what I will do is I will take my little logo right here. I made these off of Canva, and I'm just going to hide that piece of tape so it will look like this. And then I have my little flower care instruction cards. Again, you can probably just print them on your own business card. I have my logo, it says flower care instructions, and it just gives some things about like the water. It does have a QR code at the bottom and my Facebook and business Instagram page, and I just slide it in. So it'll look like that. And then it actually helps hold my little flower food packet. So this is what it's going to look like in a presentation form, which I think is just so nice and simple and pretty easy once you get the hang of it. All right, now here is another angle. This is over my shoulder, so I hope I won't be in the way. So I'm going to take my left corner I am going to fold it upwards, make my crease, and then I will take my scissors and trim off the extra. And then we have our nice triangle right here. I have my mason jar. I'm going to try and line it up and get my piece of tape ready. This one's just going to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to tuck this over and basically tuck it in all the way around and keeping it nice and tight. So then I'm going to take this corner right here and tuck it over. Again, trying to make sure everything lines up on the edges. And then I will try and fold this over nice and tight. And then I will have my tape up top. And then I will get my larger piece of tape next. It's kind of hard with this edging. Hopefully it'll stick. And I'm going to scooch it up a bit. And then I try and do it in 5 folds at least. So 1, 2, 3. If you can see some of the glass, it's fine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And if you get the glass showing, it's totally fine. I am not going to fuss over it. Again, they are going to end up taking it off. There we go. So this is what it will end up looking like. So I'm going to take my sticker and hide that piece of tape. And then I will grab my card, and I will take my card out while I'm filling it up with water, and then it just holds nicely in there. And this is what it will look like. And then when you stand it up, I kind of just squish it down. But I fill it up a lot with the water, at least 3/4 of the way, so it will definitely help hold this down. So when they go to pick it up, it won't slip and fall. So this is what it looks like. All right, and just like that, we have all 10 mason jars ready to go tomorrow for the flower stand. I probably won't be using all 10. I always aim for about 6 to 8 right now until more of my flowers start to bloom. But I just wanted to show you a nice, simple way just to add a little bit of flair to your mason jars if you don't want to just leave them out there plain. It's just a nice, simple technique, and I didn't find very much to help me figure out how to wrap them. So if you found this helpful, go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I will see you next time. Happy gardening. Bye. So if you